So fast forward now, we're going to go ahead and get to WrestleMania 8, and I don't think you were there at the time, but Warrior had taken a sabbatical. Let me ask this. You weren't there for SummerSlam that year, Madison Square Garden, to hold it up for money, were you?
I was there, but I wasn't working.
Okay. All right. So you had friends. You're obviously friends with all these guys. What was the talk of the SummerSlam situation from your perspective? And then we'll get to WrestleMania 8.
Just that, same thing you've read pretty much everywhere about it.
He held Vince up for money.
Warrior held Vince up for money. And Vince is the kind of guy that
get the match in the ring.
And he agreed to everything and to get Warrior in the ring. And paid Warrior everything that he agreed to. And fired him right after.
Okay. So they're at an impasse over money. He goes home. WrestleMania 8 happens.
Right.
Is this right around the same time as all the steroid stuff? Or has that not yet hit?
I believe steroid stuff had hit, yeah.
Was Warrior comes back noticeably smaller. The internet doesn't exist at the time, but there's lots of talk amongst wrestling fans that the first Ultimate Warrior died and that this is the replacement Ultimate Warrior. Clearly it's not, but he does wear his paint and his hair is a little different, and he does look a lot smaller.
Looked like Warrior's little brother.
So he's brought back here, though, as a surprise and really in the main event spot, rescuing his old friend Hulk Hogan. Do you know what the plan was?
I don't. I wasn't there at the time. I believe that the plan was to do the Ultimate Warrior, which is what they did, Ultimate Warrior and Papa Shango. But I wasn't there for the initial stuff. Came back in September of that year.
So you came back in September of that year, and then Warrior leaves again in November.
Yeah.
So you guys keep in and out here almost with each other. Right? It's like y'all were making the hot tags of employment. Yeah. So catch me up. September rolls in, you're here. Now it's November, and he's out again. What happened in November?
There were issues that took place that I'm not at liberty to discuss, but...
What does that mean?
There were legal issues that took place with Warrior, and he left. He and Vince had a disagreement, and...
have anything to do with drugs?
Not at liberty to discuss that.
Why are you not at liberty? You don't work there.
I understand, but that's something that took place that was between Vince and Warrior.
And you're privy to it and don't want to betray confidence to Vince?
Yes.
Okay, let's just call it like it is then. So then Warrior goes semi-retired for a little bit. He does some crazy stuff. I don't know if you saw, but he had a Warrior University thing, and he had a Warrior comic book, and you told me a story about the Warrior comic book.
That's when he came back, yeah.
Okay, so...
Warrior University and Dextrosity, and yeah.
Tell me about the Warrior comic book, because I think you told me something hilarious that I don't know that we can share here on the podcast, but if we can, it owned me.
The whole thing, I think Jim Cornette was with us at the time, and we were flying out for WrestleMania 12. And a detour on our trip was to Warrior University to meet with Warrior and talk about plans for what we wanted to do with him and moving forwards, what have you. And I think it was Dextrosity. And
I don't even know what that is.
Nobody knows what the hell that is. It was some convoluted... D is for desire. E is for extreme thinking. S or X, however you want to say it. It was crazy. But Vince was all in to bringing Warrior back, and let's do something with him. And
this is 96?
Whatever WrestleMania 12 was.
That's yeah, it's 96, and, March 96.
So we all go out there, and we meet, and we eat at the Longhorn Steakhouse, or whatever the hell it was, and everybody's happy, and Cornette's going, God damn, what the hell is this Dextrosity shit? I didn't understand a word he said. It was part of it. He had a comic book, the Ultimate Warrior comic book, or Warrior comic book. And we get to WrestleMania in the match with Triple H.
Yeah.
He was back.
How many copies of the Warrior comic book did y'all buy?
Too many.
You don't have a number?
Too many. And then after we bought too many and didn't sell very many at all.
How many boxes of those comics do you have now?
I don't have any, but there were a few.
Hundreds of cases?
There were a lot.
Thousands of cases?
I don't know. There were a lot. Hundreds of cases at least, with several hundred in them. But it just didn't work. Warrior became very difficult to deal with and started making a lot of demands, and very unreasonable demands.